What do you think, Erica, maybe the disadvantage is of doing pro wrestling at a young age like that? I mean, you might be missing out on the typical teenage stuff, right? Or,
Yeah, so I'm not really interested in the typical teenage stuff. Like, I never really have been. So that's not really a big thing for me personally. Like, for other people, it might be a thing. They could still be doing that while wrestling too. I don't know. But I feel like the biggest disadvantage is not having a lot of life experience and people expecting you to already know things that you haven't been through yet. And people underestimating you or treating you like you don't know what you're doing, even though you're literally trained to know what you're doing, at least as far as wrestling goes. A big thing is, like, for me personally, is when I tell people how old I am, they're like, oh, you're just a baby. These opportunities won't matter yet. Or, like, you'll get more opportunities. Don't worry so much about this one. I'm like, no, I'm going to make the most of everything I've got, because why wouldn't I? I mean, I'm going to try to get somewhere big as quickly as I can. But I also don't want to miss out on, like, small things, if that makes sense. Not that, like, everything's small. I'm rambling. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. You made a lot of sense. What is the scene like over there in the Carolinas? Do you wrestle in both states or mostly North Carolina, or what's the scene like? Are you staying pretty active?
So I've wrestled in a good bit of companies in North and South Carolina. For the most part, it's pretty okay. The places that I work is mostly people I already know and people that are, like, really, really good. But there is a lot of bad in the Carolinas. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of wrestling schools that will train their women equally the way that they train their men. So it's kind of harder for women to find a good school to go to. And it's harder for them to get booked places too, because they're just not trained the same. I'm not going to name any names because that would be a horrible thing to do. But I go to the Palmetto Wrestling Academy in Irmo, South Carolina. And my trainer, his name is Ethan Case. And he had a match with a woman one time. And he told him, if you hold back ever again, I will take you out to the parking lot and we'll settle it there. And ever since then, he's been like, okay, I'm going to train the women exactly the way I train the men. Bar none. And one of his rules is if a guy treats a girl like a girl, no, that's not a thing. That's not something that he's going to let slide. He's going to reprimand them for it. And he's going to be like, hey, no, she's here to train just like you are. You are going to treat her like an equal.